Alright, hey music fans, it is the final episode of my record collection series. So, part 4. This is Radiohead to ZZ Top, R to Z. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the last episode of the collection, and then I'm going to have the task of listening to every album in my collection and making a ranking of them all. So that'll take a while, but it's a fun project. Without further ado, we'll just go ahead and get into it, and if you haven't seen parts 1 to 3, go check them out. I'm going to start out an album that a lot of people don't like, Pablo Honey. I actually like this record. I think it's fun. Of course, has the huge hit Creep on it. There's some other good stuff here, though. How Do You Prove Yourself. Blowout's pretty good. Anyone Can Play Guitar. Stop Whispering. Yeah, pretty solid. It's like 90s alt-rock album. Because it's not their later stuff doesn't mean it's not good. I do like this album better, though. The Bends. It's just much better. Really good stuff on here. High and Dry, Fake Plastic Trees, Just My Iron Lung. Great record. And then finally, we have the big one, OK Computer. Very, very weird experimental album, but it's really good. Paranoid Android will blow your mind. Now we have the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Red Hot Chili Peppers, starting out with Californication. This is the earliest album I have from them. Of course, this has lots of really big songs, like the title song, Around the World, Parallel Universe, Scar Tissue, Other Side, Road Trippin'. There's some pretty underrated stuff on here, too, other than the big hits. Plays good all the way through. Easily, Porcelain, This Velvet Glove, Right on Time. Yeah, some good hidden gems on there too. Of course, the hits are epic. And then another Red Hot Chili Peppers album. This is Stadium Arcadium. It is a 4-record set on 2. It's like a double album of double albums. This is probably my favorite Red Hot Chili Peppers album. Super long, but all the songs are amazing. And it's got, of course, Danny California and Snow on it. Wet Sand is especially one of my favorites on that album. Alright, that's Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now we have R.E.M., which I have 2 albums from them. This is Document. It's the earliest one I have. I've kind of just gotten into R.E.M., so it's the earliest I have now. I do want to get some of their earlier stuff. I like Reckoning. I like Murmur. Those are good records. Life's Rich Pageant. I want to get those, but for now, this is the earliest I have, and this is one of my favorite albums from them. It's got 2 huge songs. It's The End of the World as We Know It, and The One I Love, which are both great. And then it's got a Finest Work song, which is another minor hit for them. Of course, if you're listening to R.E.M., it's not all about the hits because they're a more alternative band. So the other stuff on this album is all really good. Exhuming McCarthy, especially. Disturbance at the Heron House is good. Yeah, it's a good record. And it's a promo. It's got the gold stamp. Promo copy. So, pretty cool to find that. I found that out in the wild at a record store. You don't see a lot of R.E.M. records out in the wild. And then the other album I have from them is Automatic for the People, which is my favorite album by them so far. This album is a masterpiece, and man, I might have to put this on my album exchange that I'm doing with my friends, because I want to share this album with them. Drive, beautiful song. I love the acoustic guitar on that. Try Not to Breathe, great. Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight, kind of a funny song. Oh man, Everybody Hurts, that's a great song. Of course, you got the huge hit Man on the Moon, which is fun. And my favorite song in here, I think, is Night Swimming. That song is just amazing. Like, just jaw-droppingly amazing. Oh, and Find the River. Can't forget about Find the River. That's a perfect way to end the record, too. Now we got from REM to REO, Speedwagon. This is their album High Infidelity. In the shrink wrap with the hype sticker, it's got Keep On Loving You on it and Take It On the Run. Probably their biggest album. And then we got Wheels Are Turning, also in the shrink wrap with the hype sticker. This has I Don't Want to Know and Can't Fight This Feeling on it. I got those both for like $6 each, so cool that I got those for so cheap with the shrink and the hype stickers. We got Lionel Richie with Can't Slow Down. I've still not actually listened to this album. If you watch all my other videos where I show this off, I say I haven't listened. I still have not listened to this. I've heard Dancing on the Ceiling, but I haven't heard this album. So I really need to listen to it because everything I've heard about it is really good. I even know some of the big songs on here. All Night Long, Hello. Like, I know I'll like it. I just haven't gotten around to listening to it yet. Alright, now we got the Rolling Stones. I do not have England's Newest Hitmakers or 12 by 5. The earliest one I have is the Rolling Stones Now. This is kind of an old beat-up copy of it that I got for like $10. See, we got some tape on the top. Not one of my favorite Stones albums, but I got it because I really love the song Heart of Stone. Down Home Girl is pretty good. What else is on here? Off the Hook, yeah, that's a good one. I'm not as big into the early Stones. They start out as just this blues cover band, and I don't like them as much as a blues cover band. Here's where they get good, Out of Our Heads. I love this one. This has got I Can't Get No Satisfaction on it. It's kind of their breakthrough album. Mercy Mercy. All the covers on here are actually pretty good. Great originals, too. This Could Be the Last Time. Play with Fire. Under Assistant West Coast Promotional Man. Spider and the Fly. Yeah. Good breakthrough album for the Stones. And then we got December's Children, which apparently this cover was used for the UK version of Out of Our Heads. This has got the big song Get Off of My Cloud, and it's also got As Tears Go By. Not as strong as Out of Our Heads, but there's still some good stuff on here. You Better Move On is good. Singer Not the Song. I don't know why they put this live version of Route 66 on here. It's weird. Some of these early Stones records just randomly throw in a random live song for some reason, and I don't know why. I'm Free, that's good. Blue Turns to Gray. So there's some good stuff. I like the originals on here, but I don't really like the covers on this album. If they would have taken all of the originals on Out of Our Heads and combined them with all the originals from December's Children, then you would have had an awesome 60s Stones record. And then here's another breakthrough of sorts with Aftermath, the first album to include all songs written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. And it's got the huge single Paint It Black on it. Very experimental on the production here, including stuff like marimba, fuzzy bass. This is the Stones kind of branching out from their bluesy sound. Lady Jane, that's pretty good. Under My Thumb. And it's got Going Home, which is one of the first major rock songs to break the 10-minute mark. The song says 11 minutes and 35 seconds. So, that's a great Stones record. We have a very underrated Stones record with Between the Buttons in the shrink wrap with the hype sticker. Between the Buttons, I really like this one. It's got more like a goofy music hall vibe to it, but that's what I like about it. This is the Stones at their most British and almost sounds like the Kinks at times. But it does have some rockers on here like Miss Amanda Jones. And then, of course, you got Let's Spend the Night Together and Ruby Tuesday, which are classics. And then here's where we get the classic period of the Stones, Beggar's Banquet. Kind of the last album with major contributions from Brian Jones. You got Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man. some underrated stuff on here. Jigsaw Puzzle is good. No Expectations is amazing. Prodigal Son is a fun song. Salt of the Earth. It's a pretty good album. Either this or the next album are my favorite Stones album. It's kind of flip-flops between the two of them. But Let It Bleed. This got Give Me Shelter and You Can't Always Get What You Want and Monkey Man. It's a fun album. I really like it. Especially the B-side. The B-side is amazing. Of course, You Can't Always Get What You Want is my favorite Rolling Stones song. And then this is my other favorite Stones album, Sticky Fingers. Weird album cover aside. Yeah. It's got Can't You Hear Me Knockin', Wild Horses, Brown Sugar, Sway, I Got the Blues. It's a great one. And this was the first Stones album I had in my collection. It's a compilation. I still keep it in my collection because it has two songs that are not on any of their albums, with Honky Tonk Women and Jumpin' Jack Flash. You can only get on either 45s or on this album here. I do have the 45 of Jumpin' Jack Flash, but it's good to have it on an actual album. And then we got Exile on Main Street. Got the collectible sticker from when I bought it. Exile on Main Street, pretty good double album, kind of experimental. Tumblin' Dice is classic. And we got Some Girls, kind of their dip into disco. This is the original cover before they had a lawsuit from all the famous faces they used on the front. It's got the big hit Miss You, which has one of the greatest bass lines ever. And Beast of Burden and Shattered are great as well. Pretty good kind of comeback album. The Stones had a lot of comeback albums. We skip a few. I'm not really big into Black and Blue or Emotional Rescue. We got Tattoo You. This is a fun record. It's got Start Me Up and Waiting for a Friend on it. Kind of another comeback record of sorts. And that's about as far as I go with the Stones. Maybe I'll get Hackney Diamonds someday, which is their new album, because Angry is a good song. But the Stones get very hit or miss after Tattoo You. Now we got Rush. I do not have their first album, but I do have Fly By Night. It's the first album with Neil Peart on it, who's one of the greatest drummers ever. And then this is Caress of Steel. This is kind of where they start really getting into progressive rock. Two of the songs are over 10 minutes long. One of the songs takes up the whole side of the record pretty much. And then 2112, kind of their breakthrough album. Awesome record. The whole first side is just one song, which is one of the greatest things they've ever written. Then we got a live album, All the World's a Stage. This has a full live 2112. It's got By Tor and the Snow Dog live too. That's another long song. I haven't listened to this in a while. I don't know if I'll include live albums in my ranking. We'll find out. And we got Farewell to Kings. This is an awesome record. It's got Xanadu on it. It's got Closer to the Heart on it. It's got Cygnus X1. Yeah, if you're a Rush fan, you know this album rocks. And then we got Hemispheres next. Probably their most complex record. Of course, the whole side-long suite is on the first side this time, with Cygnus X1 Part 2, Hemispheres, which is 18 minutes long. And then after that we have Circumstances, which is probably my least favorite song on this record. We got The Trees, which is awesome, and La Via Strangiata, which is one of the most epic instrumentals ever. Only 4 songs. We got Permanent Waves. One of Rush's best albums, in my opinion. Probably my second favorite. You got The Spirit of Radio, which is one of their best songs. Free Will, Jacob's Ladder. No, Natural Science is epic. Yeah, I love this one. This first album of the 80s, they're trying to play around with synthesizers a little bit more. And Alex has some of his best guitar playing on that record, too. This one's got to be my favorite, Moving Pictures. This is their big album for a reason. Every song on here is just 10 out of 10 amazing. Tom Sawyer, I mean, what more needs to be said about that song? Red Barchetta, epic. Limelight, YYZ, one of the greatest instrumentals ever. Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, and Vital Signs, which is kind of them doing a police tribute kind of sounding song. We got another live album, Exit Stage Left. This is them doing their more mid-70s, early 80s stuff live. What's on here? Spirit of Radio, Closer to the Heart, Jacob's Ladder, The Trees. Oh, there's a live version of Xanadu. That's awesome. Oh, live Tom Sawyer, live La Via Strangiato. Man, I gotta listen to this one. It's probably an awesome live record. You can hear Rush do all that live. That's some of their best stuff. Signals, which is when they really start dipping into the synthesizers. Alex still has some pretty good guitar stuff on here, though. His guitar's not as up front, but every time his guitar comes in, it's awesome. His work on Analog Kid is amazing, and I think Subdivisions might actually be their best song. I love that one. Pretty good. Digital Man, I like that one. New World Man, Losing It. New World Man is, funny enough, their highest charting single. You would have thought it would have been Tom Sawyer. Then we're going into the later 80s with Rush. I still like these records, but for me, Rush's best stuff is from 2112 up to Signals. I don't listen to these as much. I probably need to. I'm actually looking forward to listening to these again. I can get a kind of a better perspective. But we got Grace Under Pressure here with this one. And there they are on the back. The track listing is not on the back. Helpful. What's here? Red Sector A, I know that's on here. Distant Early Warning, After Image, I think. Yeah, those are good songs. I like this one even better. Power Windows. This is a good album. Big Money is a fun song. Manhattan Project. That's a good song. Marathon, I like that one. Territories. Mystic Rhythms. Another one I need to listen to again. I used to be really big into Rush, and I would listen to all of these records all the time, especially those early 80s, late 70s ones. Hold Your Fire. Not as strong, but I'm not going to say this is a bad album. I mean, it's got Time Stands Still. That's a great song. Force 10 is good. Turn the Page. Lock and Key. I even kind of like Tai Shan. That one kind of gets a lot of hate, but it's a pretty good one. And then we have A Show of Hands. This one is a gatefold. It's another live album. This is them doing their 80s stuff. This has got Big Money, Subdivisions, Marathon, Turn the Page, Distant Early Warning, Mystic Rhythms, Witch Hunt, Force 10, Time Stands Still, Closer. Why does every Rush album have a live version of Closer to the Heart? It's like that's on every one of their live albums. It's almost like that's one of their biggest songs or something. Alright, that's Rush. Now we're moving on to Simon and Garfunkel. I do not have their debut, but I do have Sounds of Silence. This is a good record. It's a mono copy. Of course, it's got The Sound of Silence on it, and I Am a Rock. April Come She Will, we got a groovy thing going. Pretty good. Surprisingly, some very dark songs on here. Yeah, very, I don't know what Paul Simon was going through whenever he wrote some of the songs on this album. He must have been going through something. We got Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. This is an awesome album. Scarborough Fair, Homeward Bound, Feelin' Groovy, For Emily Where I May Find Her, Dangling Conversation. I can't pronounce the name of that. Simple Desultory Philippic. I'll just call it the one where it sounds like Bob Dylan. But this is another great album. Simon and Garfunkel is pretty much quality stuff all the way through. Not a lot of duds with them. Bookends. This is possibly the most rare record in my collection. This particular copy of Bookends. Let me show it here. It's a mono copy of Bookends, and this came out in 1968. These things are super rare. They go for hundreds of dollars, and I found this at $50 at a record store. So, had to pick it up. Some record collectors, it's just like their holy grail of records, and I found it. This has got Mrs. Robinson on it is the big song. America, Hazy Shade of Winter, Save the Life of My Child. This is a good one. I like this one. Probably their most experimental record. And then we got my favorite, Bridge Over Troubled Water. The title song is probably my favorite song of all time. And you also got Cecilia, The Boxer, Keep the Customer Satisfied, El Condor Pasa, Baby Driver, Only Living Boy in New York. Like, pretty much every song on this record is huge. And then I've grouped in Paul Simon's solo records with Simon and Garfunkel. Here's Paul Simon, self-titled album. And this has got Me and Julio, Down by the Schoolyard, Mother and Child Reunion. I need to listen to... Man, I really like Paul Simon's solo stuff, but I just have not listened to it a whole lot other than Still Crazy After All These Years. I need to listen to more Paul Simon solo stuff. Give that record another chance. And here's his second album, There Goes Rhymin' Simon. I have not heard this album in years, so I need to give this one another listen. This is the one I'm most familiar with, Still Crazy After All These Years. Used to be my favorite, but I think I like Graceland better now. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover is still probably one of my favorite Paul Simon songs. You Can Call Me Al has been in my head every day lately. But Still Crazy After All These Years is an awesome song. My Little Town is the final Simon and Garfunkel song. Of course, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover we just talked about. Gone at Last. Have a Good Time. Oh, Silent Eyes. Man, that is an amazing deep cut on this record. Yeah. Really like that one. I have never listened to this record. One Trick Pony. So it was a gift. I'll have to listen to it and then I can comment on it. But for right now, I've never heard it. And here's his best album. Graceland. He was kind of experimenting with world music at the time. A lot of people in the late 80s were experimenting with world music. Peter Gabriel was too. Yeah, You Can Call Me Al. That's on here. That's awesome. Graceland, the title song. Boy in the Bubble. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. Man, so good. I need to listen to this album more. Every time I listen to it, it gets better. I think that's it for Simon and Garfunkel. Then we got Frank Sinatra. This is the only Frank Sinatra album I have within the wee small hours of the morning. One of the first concept records. And it's an early copy, so it's on the gray label. Pretty good stuff. I need to get more Sinatra. And then we have a complete 180 from Frank Sinatra, a completely different style. Soundgarden, Super Unknown. 90s alt-rock. This has the huge song Black Hole Sun on it, which was everywhere in the 90s. Some other pretty big songs too, like My Wave and Spoon Man. The Day I Tried to Live is really good. Yeah, Chris Cornell, one of the great 90s vocalists, R.I.P. Great album, one of the best albums of the 90s. We got Rick Springfield with Working Class Dog. This is the album that has Jesse's Girl on it, but the whole album is actually pretty good. Now we got The Boss. Bruce Springsteen. Born to Run. I love this record. The title song and Jungle Land are just epic. Whole thing is perfect. One of the greatest albums ever made. We got The River. This is one that I picked up recently and just heard recently. I need to give this one another listen. I don't think I quite took it all in at once the first time I heard it, so especially since it's a double Bruce. So definitely need to hear this one again, but Hungry Heart was kind of the standout track on first listen. Now we got the big one, Born in the USA. I mean, this is a classic record right here. So many huge songs. Born in the USA, Cover Me, Downbound Train, I'm on Fire, No Surrender, I'm Going Down, Glory Days, Dancing in the Dark, My Hometown. The B-side to this record might as well be Bruce Springsteen's greatest hits. I mean, seriously, like every song on this B-side is a huge hit. And there's some on the A-side too. Like perfect record there, Bruce. Alright, now we got some Steely Dan. Here's their debut with Can't Buy a Thrill. Love this one. It's got the title sticker on it too, or the hype sticker. Do It Again, Dirty Work, Reelin' in the Years. Classic early 70s record. Countdown to Ecstasy. Not as good. I do like My Old School though. Never been a big fan of Showbiz Kids. That song never really stood out to me. Pretzel Logic, I like this one. It's got Ricky Don't Lose That Number, which is one of their best songs. Title song's pretty groovy too. Katie Lied. This is kind of a more underrated Steely Dan album. Black Friday, Dr. Wu, Bad Sneakers, Chain Lightning. Yeah, really good. And this is Jeff Porcaro on it before he joined Toto. Royal Scam, one of my favorites. Awesome guitar from Larry Carlton. Kid Charlemagne, one of the greatest guitar solos of all time. You got the Fez, Don't Take Me Alive. Green Earrings. Title song, Royal Scam. Yeah. That's a great record right there. Alright, here's the big one. Asia. It's my favorite. Perfect record. 10 out of 10. Black Cow. Deacon Blues. Peg. The title song is one of the coolest drum solos ever. Home at Last. I Got the News, and Josie. 7 just perfect songs. And last one in this first little cube thing here. It's the final Steely Dan record. in my collection, at least. They had a comeback in the two comebacks, I believe, in the 2000s. I'm having trouble getting that in its case. We'll just go ahead and show the next one. Gaucho. Yeah, this one's not as good. I mean, there's some good stuff on it, but it's a bit of a letdown after Asia. Alright, that's the first cube. Now we're going to get to the next one. What do we got here? Steppenwolf, Born to be Wild. Pretty good late 60s rock album. The Rod Stewart album by Rod Stewart. This is his debut. He had sung with Jeff Beck, and so now he's got his own record. And then this one is Blondes Have More Fun. I bought it for the song Do You Think I'm Sexy? This is a indie rock classic, The Strokes' Is This It? A record that I need to spend some more time with. I like songs on it, but the full thing has not clicked with me yet. I liked it enough, and it's a very important album in the 2000s, so I need to listen to it a few more times to really get it. But Last Night and Is This It are both great. Yeah, I need to listen to this some more. I'll get it eventually. We got Styx with The Grand Illusion. Come Sail Away, one of the greatest songs ever. Foolin' Yourself, awesome. Castle Walls, super underrated. Great record. And then another Styx record, Pieces of Eight. This has Renegade and Blue Collar Man on it. Another Styx record with Paradise Theater. I really like this one. Too Much Time on My Hands is awesome. And The Best of Times. Supertramp, Crime of the Century. Bloody Well Right is the big song on this one. Even in the Quietest Moments. This is kind of a more underrated album. Give a Little Bit. That's the big song on here. Fool's Overture is awesome. One of the greatest albums of all time, Breakfast in America. I love this one. Every song is awesome. Gone Hollywood, I love that. Logical Song, epic, great saxophone. Goodbye Stranger, epic as well. Breakfast in America, love that one. Oh Darling, that's good. Take the Long Way Home, I love that song. Lord Isn't Mine is a good deep cut. Just Another Nervous Wreck, really underrated song that one is. Casual Conversation's pretty nice, and Child of Vision is probably the most underrated song on this album. Love the piano work on Child of Vision. Love that record. It's probably one of my top 20 favorite albums, that one. Now we got Survivor with Eye of the Tiger. Pretty underrated 80s rock album. Not just the title song. There's some good stuff on here. I'm Not That Man Anymore has a killer guitar solo. And then we have a different Survivor. I mean, same band, but different lead singer. Vital Signs. Another great record. I Can't Hold Back is an awesome song. We got James Taylor with his debut album. This has got Something in the Way She Moves and Carolina in My Mind. I like that record. Good folk singer-songwriter-y stuff. Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair. It's got the huge hit Everybody Wants to Rule the World on it. Love this record. This is another one of my favorite records. Head Over Heels is awesome. Shout. Mother's Talk. I Believe. Broken. The Working Hour, great saxophone on that one. Great, great, great album. I've not heard a bad Tears for Fears record. I've heard 3 of them so far, so I need to get their first album, and I need The Seeds of Love. Now we have Three Dog Night with their debut. This has the big single, One Is the Loneliest Number. And most of the songs on this album are covers. There's covers of Randy Newman on here, too. There's a cover of Otis Redding. Try a little tenor. There's a Neil Young cover of The Loner. Oh, and there's a cover of the band, too. I think they cover Chest Fever on there. Here's more Three Dog Night. Suitable for Framing is the name of this one. Kind of a goofy picture in the gatefold. What's the song on this one? The big one. Eli's Coming. That's the big song on this one. It's got a cover of Feeling Alright, too. Not as good as Joe Cocker's version. Eli's Coming is probably the best one on that one. I spoke about Jeff Porcaro earlier. Here's Toto. Their debut. Very great album. Hold the Line is amazing. I'll Supply the Love. Angela. Great debut from Toto. And then this is my favorite album by them, Toto 4. Rosanna is probably their best song. Some very underrated stuff on here. Make Believe. I Won't Hold You Back is awesome. Afraid of Love has a great guitar riff. Lovers in the Night, killer guitar solo from Steve Lukather. Waiting for Your Love, yeah, great record. And there's a little song called Africa on here too. The Traveling Wilburys. It's a super group with Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty, George Harrison, Bob Dylan, and Roy Orbison. It's fun. It's got The End of the Line and Handle with Care for the big songs here. Fun late 80s album. Great seeing all those legends team up together. Alright, now we got U2. U2 up next. Here's their album War with Sunday Bloody Sunday and New Year's Eve. Or, sorry, New Year's Day. Why did I say New Year's Eve? It's called New Year's Day. 40 is a really underrated song that closes this album. Great album. Kind of where U2 start to find their sound. And they find it on this record here when they work with Daniel Lanois and Brian Eno. This is Unforgettable Fire. Pride in the Name of Love is one of their best songs. Of course, A Sort of Homecoming, and that's a great song too. Bad. Unforgettable Fire. Wire, that's an underrated song. Yeah, this is a great record here. We got an absolute masterpiece of a record with the Joshua Tree. The first 3 songs are just so good. Where the Streets Have No Name, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, With or Without You. But the whole thing is epic. Bullet the Blue Sky has one of the greatest drum intros ever. Running to Stand Still, that's a kind of a more quiet song. Red Hill Mining Town, that's awesome. In God's Country is super underrated. Trip Through Your Wires, that's cool. One Tree Hill, it's a fun song. Exit, man, Exit is kind of a creepy sounding song, but it's so epic. And then Mothers of the Disappeared. Perfect record. Now we have Rattle and Hum. This is kind of an interesting album. Half live, half studio. I actually really like this record. I think it's got some underrated stuff on here. Fun cover of Helter Skelter by the Beatles. Desire, that's an awesome song. Angel of Harlem, that's great. When Love Comes to Town, featuring B.B. King. It's got a cool gospel version of I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. And of course, All I Want Is You. That's another great song on this album. And this is my favorite U2 album, Achtung Baby. This is actually from the 90s. I got this from Concert Buddy, who's awesome. He got me a good deal on it. All the songs on here are fantastic. One especially, but Zoo Station, even better than The Real Thing. Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses? Mysterious Ways, The Fly. Like, come on, this record is awesome. And then here is All That You Can't Leave Behind. It's a 2000s album. It's the one-disc version from, I think, 2017. I love Beautiful Day. That's one of their best songs. Walk On is amazing. Elevation. Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out Of. Kind of dips off on the second side, but that first A side is just amazing. Now, that's U. We're going to V with Van Halen. It's their debut. Eruption. Man, that's a mind-blowing song. Some of the greatest guitar playing ever on this record here. Ain't Talking About Love. Jamie's Crying. You Really Got Me. I'm the One. That's a great one. Little Dreamer is good. Atomic Punk. Kind of a funny title. Yeah, great record there. Then we skip a few. I only have like 3 Van Halen albums. So we're going to be skipping a little bit ahead to 1984. It's upside down. This is when Eddie starts playing around with the synthesizer a bit. You've got Jump and I'll Wait, which are very synth-heavy. But then you got some more traditional-sounding Van Halen songs like Hot for Teacher and Panama on here. Top Jimmy is really underrated. Yeah, it's a good one. Probably my favorite record from them. And then I do have one Sammy Hagar album with 5150. I do like the David Lee Roth stuff better, but this album is just great. Couldn't help but get it. And Dreams is awesome. This is another modern album. This is Vampire Weekend with their self-titled record from 2008. I really like this album. This album is a vibe. Yeah, A-Punk. You probably don't like, what the heck is A-Punk? You've heard that song. Mansard Roof. Some of the titles are weird. It's a good album. These guys were graduates from Harvard, I think. Campus. Kids Don't Stand a Chance. It's a vibey record. I like it. Now we got Stevie Ray Vaughan with Texas Flood. Man, R.I.P. Stevie Ray Vaughan, one of the guitar greats. It's a great blues record. And he's from Texas, so that's cool. I'm going to try moving my records over a bit. The remaining ones. Why do I have so many records that start with V, W, X, and Y? Alright, this is The Verve. The big hit on this album is Bittersweet Symphony, which that's an awesome song. Another 90s record. Drugs Don't Work is awesome. Lucky Man, Sonnet. Kind of got a psychedelic vibe to it. More 90s coming up with the next one. Weezer's Blue Album. Buddy Holly. Sweater Song. Say It Ain't So. It's a great album. It's fun. Jump from the 90s to the 2000s. We got Jack White and the White Stripes with Elephant. It's got huge song Seven Nation Army on there. Hardest Button to Button, that's another big song. Ball and Biscuit. There's No Home for You Here. Fun, just like, I think they would call this garage rock. And it was all recorded on, I think this was recorded all on analog gear, which is really cool. Of course, everybody knows that. Dun, 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 dun. Now we got The Who with My Generation. That's a classic song right there. This also has The Kids Are Alright. And their second album, Happy Jack. It's got Boris the Spider. Not as good as My Generation. The production on that album kind of sucks. And we got Sell Out with I Can See for Miles. This is a concept album about the radio and about commercialism. Here's the big one, Tommy. Rock opera. Cool packaging on that one. Pinball Wizard. Live at Leeds. Heavy stuff on that one. I forgot to put this down. 1 second, I've got the next one up here. My favorite album by them, Who's Next? Baba O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again, Behind Blue Eyes, Bargain. The Song Is Over, that's an underrated song. This is just a fantastic rock record. One of the best albums of all time. We got Quadrophenia, another rock opera. Another double album. That one's probably a little more ambitious than Tommy. Odds and Sods, this is like a rarities and B-sides kind of album. And then Who Are You? Which I think this is like a radio station copy. It's a promo. White label. And then I didn't know where to put this next record, so I just put it under W for Williams. We have the Star Wars soundtrack from 1977. Yeah. Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions, awesome record. Higher Ground, Living for the City, Golden Lady, Too High, Don't You Worry About a Thing. Great record. And this next one's even better. Songs in the Key of Life. This is a masterpiece record right here. I mean, As is like one of the best songs ever. Sir Duke, I Wish, Pastime Paradise, Ordinary Pain, Isn't She Lovely? What was Stevie Wonder doing in 1976? Let's make this awesome record here. Alright, now we're up to Y. We've got Yes. Here's their debut record called Yes. It's okay. Time and a Word. This one has orchestra on it. Here's where I think they get really good. The Yes album. Here's where we get Steve Howe. Starship Trooper is epic. Yours Is No Disgrace. Awesome. I've Seen All Good People. Yeah, awesome record here. Great progressive rock. Here's kind of their big album, Fragile. I mean, it's got Roundabout on it. That's one of the most awesome songs ever. kind of a weird concept. Every member of the band kind of gets their own little weird experimentation, and then some of the songs they just all do. South Side of the Sky. That's a cool song. Close to the Edge. This is a masterpiece record here. The title song is, I can't even describe. It's so good. And You and I, amazing. Siberian Khatru, awesome bass and guitar playing on that song. It's only 3 songs, but they're all long and they're all epic. Yeah, Yes Songs, which is a triple live album. These progressive rock bands and their triple live albums. What does this have here in it? It has a live version of Siberian Khatru, a live version of Heart of the Sunrise, which that's a great song from Fragile, live version of And You and I, live version of Roundabout, live version I've Seen All Good People, live version of Long Distance Runaround, live version of Close to the Edge, live version of Starship Trooper. Man, that's probably a really long album. Some long songs on there. This is my favorite Yes record. Gates of Delirium is the name of the song. Relayer is the name of the album. Gates of Delirium is a crazy song. Puts all the horrors of war right before your very ears, and then tells you that we do have hope. This is a weird album, Going for the One. I haven't listened to it very much, but it was like $5. This is an even weirder album with Tornado. It kind of sucks. I don't know why it's in my collection. I had a really big progressive rock phase, and Yes was one of my favorites at the time. I like this one, 90125. It's produced by Trevor Horn. Great producer. Of course, Owner of a Lonely Heart is awesome. Changes, that's great. I need to listen to it again. Been a while since I've heard it. Big Generator. I've heard this once. I need to hear it again. If I remember correctly, sounds like 90125 Part 2, but not as good. Union. I don't know why I have this album. Kind of sucks. This next album does not suck. Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies. I love this record. This is a cool 1960s psychedelic pop record. Lots of cool Mellotron, lots of Baroque sounding songs. Great, great stuff. And then I put this in with the Zombies. Colin Blunstone, 1 Year. It's his solo record. Two more records and we'll be done with my collection. How about that? They're both ZZ Top. We've got Tres Hombres. Just got LaGrange. Waiting for the Bus. Jesus Just Left Chicago. Fun album. And the very last record in my collection is Eliminator. This is kind of them adapting to the 80s, and it's awesome. All right, well that's my record collection. Perfect. Well, thank you guys for watching. You've been through all 4 parts. Remember, music is art, art is expression, and we'll see you around. Bye.